Hello Divi Nation, and welcome to our brand new mini-series on how to create a simple and effective portfolio website using Divi. In this mini-series, we'll be covering everything that you need to know in order for you to create your own portfolio website from scratch. The goal of our mini-series is to provide you with tips and techniques to help you enhance your design skills with Divi. In today's post, I'm going to show you how to add some alternate styles to the minimal portfolio homepage we built in the previous video. Before we get started, there's a few things that we're going to need, and these are a hero image with dimensions of 1920 by 875 pixels and also some CSS code, link provided in the show notes below. So I'm here in my WordPress dashboard. So what we need to do is to add this call to action right at the bottom of our page. So to do that, I'm just going to go to pages, and then we're going to select our home page, and then we're going to click on edit. So now let's dive into the visual builder. So what you want to do here is to scroll all the way down here, because this is where we need to add a new section. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add new section, and then I'm going to click on regular. Now we need a 2/3, 1/3 layout. So I'm just going to click on that. And then on the first one here, it needs to be a text module. So I'm just going to click on text. And then we're going to paste in some text, and we're going to go ahead and save this. Okay. Now we need to duplicate this because we need 2 of these, so we can add some dummy text in that. So I'm going to click on duplicate. Now we need to adjust this text and add the dummy text. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go in and click on settings. Okay, so this is the dummy text I'm going to paste, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, so now we can see that all our information is there. The next thing we need to do here is to add a button. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and click on this plus button, and then I'm just going to type button, and then click on to add the new button. Okay, so now that we have the button there, we just need to make a few adjustments. On the button text, I need to add let's talk, like that. So that's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Now we need to style this section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the section settings and then click on CSS. And in the main element, I'm going to add this code. So this code can be found in the link that I'll provide in the show notes below. But as you can see, what this code has done to the main element or that section is to add a 2-pixel border around, which is what you can see here in the live preview. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. Now, next, what we need to do is to go in and style this text and also the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the heading. So with the heading here, I'm going to go into the design settings, and then making sure that my main default font is Open Sans. In fact, I'll just drag this here so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so a default font, let's choose Open Sans for that. We're going to make sure that it's all bold. The size needs to be 16. And we're going to make sure that this is also bold, so it can really stand out, as you can see. That's looking good so far. Now let's go on to the custom margin. So we're going to scroll all the way down here, and then we need to add 0 to the bottom. Okay, so that text can be close to this description text below it. Okay, and then what we're going to do here as well is we're going to add some custom padding to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here and then just add 10 pixels for that. Okay, so that's looking good. Now let's customize the button. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And then scroll all the way down here and then go into the button settings. Right, so here we need to go into the design, and then we're going to activate this button here, which says use custom styles for the button, because this enables us to do all the adjustments that we need to that button. Okay, so let's start off with the text size. So here the text size needs to be 16 because 20 is a bit too big, like that. Now the button text color This needs to be 66666. Right, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to add the border color, which should be the same color as the text color. So let's go and click here and just add the 6666. Okay, and as you can see here, all these changes are happening live on the right side here as we make these changes. Okay, so border radius, we need to make sure that that is set to 0. Like that. Now we need to match the font that we used here in this description header as the button text for consistency. So what we're going to do here is we're going to come here to button font and make sure that it's Open Sans. And to make that text stand out, we're also going to make sure that it is bold. Now let's go on to the icon. So the icon we need to add here to go with the theme of what we're trying to build. I think what works here is the camera. So let's search for the camera icon. And we've got it right here. Okay, that's looking good. So the button icon color as well, for consistency purposes, we just need to make sure that it is the same color as the text that we used earlier on. Okay. And then if you scroll down here, the hover text color needs to also be that gray. At the button hover radius, that needs to be 0. And then finally, what we need to do here is to add the hover background. So what this does is it just shows visually that when you put your mouse over it, it's something that you can click on. So here, I'm just going to paste the RGBA value. So I'm just going to paste it within those brackets. And this value is 255.255.255.0. So finally, we need to add some CSS. So I'm going to go into the CSS tab, and then in the main element, we just need to add this margin top 10%. Okay, so that looks really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and save changes. Okay, so now we can see that we have our call to action in place. Now that we're happy with our call to action section, what we're going to do next is to build our second variant of our design, which is swapping out the standard portfolio module for the filterable portfolio module, which makes browsing by category easier. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to disable this design because deleting it doesn't really do us justice because we spent so much time designing this. So Divi has a really cool feature where we can just disable this and then start building on the next variant. So to disable it, what you need to do is to come here to this blue section and then right click. So as soon as you right click, you'll see this pop up which has this option to disable. So if I click on disable, now we can disable this for the large screen, the mobile devices, and the smartphone. So now what this ensures is every time that anyone visits this page using these three options, they will not see this. So this is a cool feature because if we had to delete this, it meant that we would have to redesign it if we wanted to use it. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Right, so let's scroll down, add a new section, and then let's start building our second variant. So I'm going to click on add new section. I'm going to click on regular. I'm going to add a single row, and this time it's going to be a filterable portfolio. So I'm going to click on that. So now we have to make a few changes to this. So the first thing we need to do here is we need to change the layout to grid, and then the post number needs to be 16. And then what you can do here is you can go into these categories and select the categories that you need to show here. Now, here's the thing. If you don't see these categories, it's simple. What you need to do, so you need to go to your projects, click on all projects, choose any of these projects. And then after you've added your featured image, you need to make sure that you add the category here. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll just copy that and add it as a new category. So I'll just type in the category and then just click on add new. Now that I've already added it, you can see here it's already selected. So that's what you need to do in order for you to show those categories. Right, so this is our filterable portfolio. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into this module settings. So here what we need to do is to disable the categories. So here, this is where I get to choose my categories that I need to showcase here on our portfolio. So now that we have all our categories selected, what we need to do now is to go into the design settings. And then here, we need to choose the hover icon, and we're going to make sure that it's a camera. Okay, and it's right here. The zoom icon color needs to be white. The hover overlay color, the RGBA color in here. So I'm just going to paste that. Okay, so the title text color needs to be a dark gray, and that's a value of 66666. And then what we need to do here is to scroll all the way down until we find filter font, and then we need to make sure this is Open Sans. And we also need to make sure that it's bold. And then the filter text color needs to match what we have on the site, which is this dark gray, which has a hex value of 66666. And then finally, what we need to do here is we just need to make sure that the title font is bold and also it's 16 pixels. Okay, so that's looking good. So what I'm going to do here is to go ahead and save these changes. Now, what we need to do next is to come here to the row settings. So here in the row settings, I'm going to click the gear icon, and we're going to make sure that this is set to full width. And then here we're going to enable the custom gutter width, and we're just going to change that to 2. Okay, so these are all the changes that we need to do here in the row settings. So let's go ahead and save. Okay, so moving on, now we're doing our portfolio homepage variant 3, and this is now adding a hero section. So to add a hero section, what you need to do is to first add a new section. So we're going to click this blue button here, add a new section. We're going to click on regular, and now we need, in this case, we're going to need 2 rows. Okay, so in this first row, we need to add a divider. And we're going to make sure the height of that divider is 400 pixels. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save changes. Okay, so now that we have our divider in place, what we're going to do next is to add a background image to this section. So we're going to click on the section settings, and then we're going to go to background image and then click upload. I'm going to click on upload files, select files. So my image is in the downloads folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that image and then click open and then upload an image. So that's the image that we need. I'm going to go ahead and save changes. So now that we have our image in there, what we need to do next is to add a text module. So I'm just going to type in text. Okay, so here we need to make sure the text is light because we have a dark background here, so the text is easily readable. So text orientation, I'm going to make sure that is centered, and then I'm going to type my text in there. Okay, so now that we have our text in place, what we need to do is to go into the design settings, and then here I'm going to make sure that the text font is size 34. So we're going to come here and just drag the slider until we get to 34, like that. Text font needs to be Roboto. So I'm going to scroll down here, and then we're going to make sure that it's all caps. And then you can see here the text is overlapping, so we need to adjust the line height. So I'm just going to make sure the line height is 1.8 EMs. Okay, so let's scroll down here and add some custom padding. So the custom padding here needs to be 15%. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the CSS tab and just make sure that we add this CSS code, which makes the font weight 400. Okay, so now that we're happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and save changes. Okay, so now what we're going to do quickly is we're going to drag this hero section right to the top. So to do that, I'm just going to grab this handle right here in the corner, and you can see here it says move section. So I'm just going to drag all that to the top. Okay, so that's looking good so far. So next, what we're going to do here is we're going to add a new module, and this time it's going to be a button. So let's start off with the URL. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that this button URL targets our About Us and Contact page. So this is the link to my About and Contact page. Okay, next in the button text, we can just add this text, tell me more, but you can make it obviously whatever you want. The text alignment center. And now we need to customize and make this button fit our design. So to do that, we're just going to go into the design tab and activate the Use Custom Styles button. Okay, so let's start off here with the text size. So the text size needs to be 22, and the button text color needs to be this RGBA value, which I'll paste in within the brackets. Now let's move on to the button background color. And again here, I'm going to add the RGBA value within the brackets as before. So next, let's add the button border color. And now here on the button border radius, we just need to make sure that that is set to 0. Now the button font needs to be Roboto, and we need to make sure that it's bold. So I'm going to scroll down here until I find it, and I'm going to make it bold. Okay, so that's looking good. So here for the button icon, we need to make sure that it's the camera. So just to have that consistency going. So I'm just going to scroll down here and find the camera. We're going to make sure that the icon color is set to white. Now let's go to the hover settings. So the button hover text color is going to be this RGBA value. I'm going to paste in between the brackets. The hover background color is going to be 0.0.0.0 like that. And then the button hover color, that's going to be the RGB I'm going to paste in here. The button hover border radius needs to be set to 0. And then finally, in the main element, we need to add the CSS code, which adds a margin top of 10 pixels. Okay, so this is pretty much done. So we can go ahead now and save the changes. So this is our final design. So we have this hero section, which has our call to action. And then below it, we have this filterable portfolio. And then finally, right here at the bottom, we have this call to action section. Later on in the series, I'll show you how to test these design elements so that you can come up with a definitive conclusion on what works best for you and your visitors. So there you have it. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow us on our social media platforms. We will be producing more and more of these videos. Be sure to subscribe, because by subscribing, you will be notified when we produce more videos. Until next time, thanks for watching and see you soon.